Well, with me right now from the Orange County Fire Authority is Captain Shane Sherwood, and you might recognize him because I think for past couple years or so, every once in a while we'll show the training video when we were up at their headquarters. And of course, Shane was part of that. Good to see you again,
No,
sir.
glad to be back. Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually, I promoted to battalion chief since we last.
Oh, you are? I got to scratch that off.
No, all good.
Wow.
So, yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That is fantastic. Larry didn't tell me that.
Yeah,
so.
That's all right.
Well, what we're talking about today is the California Task Force 5 FEMA Urban Search and Rescue. So tell me about your role in this and the Orange County Fire Authority's role in this.
Sure. So Orange County Fire Authority is the managing agency for a FEMA task force. There's one of 28. We're one of 28 in the U.S. There's 8 in the state of California. So we have California Task Force 5, which is made up of not only the Orange County Fire Authority members, but also from the City of Orange Fire Department and the City of Anaheim Fire Department. And we responded out to Houston in response to Hurricane Harvey. We took 45 members and 15 different vehicles out to Harvey. So yeah, it was a big convoy.
Yeah.
A few semi-trucks and some other trucks and trailers. We took boats with us, which was different from when we responded to Katrina. When we went to Katrina, we didn't have boats with us. So with the rising floodwaters in Katrina, we weren't able to respond immediately to render help to the citizens of Louisiana. However, with Harvey, we did have boats with us, so we were able to go to work immediately.
Yeah, we can see here some of the photos that you sent. That last photo was on that, I forget that one freeway, that was there.
It was on the 610.
Yeah, I think I've been on that freeway. And that's the one, if I recall, it actually goes in almost through a watershed area.
Correct.
Am I right? Kind of a marshy thing, but there's homes right there.
Yeah, and in fact, that was our first assignment. So we left here on Thursday night, to take that back, about Friday morning about 2 a.m. And we had about a 25-hour drive to San Antonio. So it was quite the adventure. It started raining about halfway through our trip. And when we arrived in San Antonio, it was about 5 o'clock in the morning Saturday. And our direction at that time was, we may use you on Sunday or Monday.
Was that your staging point?
Correct.
Okay.
That's where they were bringing all the task forces in before they deployed them out to the areas in need.
Okay.
So we got woken up Sunday morning about 3 a.m. and we were told we needed to get to Houston.
Okay.
So we had about a 2.5-hour drive in front of us. We arrived in Houston. The original location they wanted us to report to, we couldn't make it to because of all the rain and the floods. So we stopped at a football stadium in Houston, a high school football stadium. It looked like a professional stadium. And we
Texas,
yeah, exactly. So we split the group off and we sent the 20 folks down range with the boats and rescue folks that could handle the water and mitigate rescues. So they were stopped on the 610 freeway, the picture you saw, and they had to begin to effect rescues right there. So that was the last time we saw them for 72 hours.
Wow.
Due to the amount of rain that we sustained.
Yeah, here's that photo here.
Yeah, so this is where they first started working. You can see the helicopters and all the other boats. I must tell you, one of the most amazing things to see was the amount of citizens that came out to help, that brought their boats. And without their effort and their help, we would not have been able to be as successful as we were.
Yeah, I heard they're what they call the Cajun.
Well, so that was
that.
That's where the Cajun militia. They came out with their boats, their airboats, which was fantastic. So without them, the Cajun Navy was phenomenal. But there were many others besides just them. They're definitely more. So this is in Houston, or the northeast part of Houston. I mean, you can see the boats that the folks brought out were just amazing. I mean, you would normally see these on lakes and rivers.
Yeah.
But these are neighborhoods that they're in.
And that's incredible. It looks like an apartment building or something.
Correct.
But, the photos that you saw, I was looking at them yesterday, are just incredible. I mean, look at this. This is somebody's
So this is a retirement home or a convalescent home. And so there was water pretty much all the way up to about halfway up the first floor. There's a boat inside the lobby with the chandelier. One of the rescuers was telling me, I think the picture's included here, but he was walking down one of the halls and the water's up to just about his chest. And he said it was the most eerie thing to encounter. He says it had to be similar to what the Titanic was like when it sank.
Yeah.
Being one of the last folks inside the boat. But no, they experienced, here's a deer that we rescued and then a cat. This was quite the story. They loaded the boat up, and someone felt that the deer was in trouble. And so they took the deer and they wrapped up the legs so it couldn't swim. And it was inside that last picture we saw in the retirement home.
It was inside?
Inside. Someone had put it inside because they were afraid it couldn't swim. Well, we come to find out deer swim with no problem.
Yeah.
So they're crossing back in the boat. They have a deer, they have a cat, and then they have 3 other folks. Well, unfortunately, one of the folks that they rescued had a medical emergency and had a seizure while they were coming back. So they had to tend to the seizure as they were driving the boat, and then the deer decided he no longer wanted to be in the boat. So now they had to make sure the deer stayed in the boat. And then as they arrived back to where they were going to offload, the cat decided he didn't want to be in the boat either, and he jumped out of the boat. So that's why you see the cat being dried off. The deer was made it safe, and fortunately as well, the patient that had the seizure was okay as well.
Yeah.
But this is the type of stuff that they encountered on a regular basis. It was unbelievable, the amount of work. They performed close to 2,000 rescues in the 3 days that they were actively engaged.
Yeah, that's amazing. And of course, the area that you were in, as you saw in some of these photos that we saw, were in many cases very large homes, nice urban areas. But there's a watershed there. There's actually a dam, am I right?
Correct. Yeah, on the north part, east side.
Kind of a watershed dam type of thing.
Yeah, it's actually where they were the last 2 days was near Lake Houston.
Okay.
And the fire department there, a couple of the chiefs had said, this area never has flooded. Well, they saw record amounts of rain, and this area now has flooded.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where they spent most of their time. After they left the 610 freeway that we saw in that first picture, the next 2 days they were near Lake Houston. And you know, it was amazing. As fast as the water came up, after the rain subsided, the water in most of the newer parts of Houston subsided pretty quickly.
Wow.
And you know, it was amazing to see the community of Houston. As soon as the water cleared away, they were off to fixing their homes, and you know, the lines at Home Depot and the parking lots at Home Depot were full, and it was, hey, we're going to get back to normal life here. And so it was great to see. It was an incredible experience.
How long were you down there, did you say?
So we were down there for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And so, and as I was talking about, we got split up. So 20 folks went down to the 610 and then to the north east side of Houston. The other 20 of us, we stayed in the community of Katy, where we had the same experience of flooding and community members coming into the high school. And we worked closely with the National Guard to do over 200 different evacuations from the community of Katy. Wow. And then we also were able to go help with about another 500-600 rescues of one of the condominium complexes that I think I have a picture in there, where one of the rescuers thought an armadillo was a pet, and we ended up bringing the armadillo back. Come to find out, armadillos swim.
Yeah.
Just like the deer.
When you get down there, who is an operation this big, just the logistics, because I'm sure you weren't the only task force that came in the air. Who coordinates this? Who's the coordinating agency? Is it the city of Houston, their Houston Search and Rescue or Fire? So
FEMA comes in and works for the city of Houston, or for the state of Texas for this case. And so we are managed by FEMA, and we have what they call an instant support team from FEMA that gives us direction on where they need our assistance. So on Hurricane Harvey, all 28 task forces in the United States were activated.
Wow.
All with different team capacities. Some came as what we call a Type 1 team, which is 80 personnel. We came as a Type 3, which is 45 personnel. And then there's some smaller packages that come that bring just boats, and they're about 14 or 15 folks. But all 28 teams were activated for Hurricane Harvey. There was about 50 inches of rain accumulated in the city of Houston. In the city of Katy, where we were, there was a little over 30 inches of rain.
Wow.
And that was in about a 36-hour period.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They get a lot of rain down in that area, but it's coming to them in a matter of 2, 3, 4 days.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
Right.
Because they do get a lot of rain down there. So tell me about the task force in general. How did you get involved? Because is this something that you sort of signed up for as being part of OC Fire? If the opportunity comes along?
Correct. And like I said, Orange County Fire Authority is the managing agency for the task force. There's 8 in the state of California. We are California Task Force 5. And it is set up to not only go to Texas as we did, but it also provides an asset to the community here in Orange County. So all the skills and training that we took with us to Houston, we also have the ability to handle all that stuff here. And so I got involved about 12 years ago. My job on the task force for Harvey was the plans team manager.
Okay.
So we have a plan section, we have a logistics section, we have a search section, a rescue section, and then we're all led by a task force leader. And in this case, Jeff Hoey was the task force leader. So we took this group down with. We also brought 2 dogs with us. I should add them in there.
Okay.
Unfortunately, with the flooding, the dogs don't. There's not a lot of work for them.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work as well.
But they were there just.
They were there.
Yeah, we see them there.
You see them in the picture there. So, we have all these skills and abilities and tools, and we took them with us to Texas. But all we did was go and hone our skills, because if we have something here that's of this type of magnitude in the state of California, or even in Orange County itself, we're going to get all the help from the 28 task forces as well from around the country.
So it's the same thing as the mutual agencies work here.
100%. You're exactly right. Just like we see, units going to Northern California for the fires and coming down here for the fires as well. It's the same thing, just on the FEMA level. So when
you're down there, where do you folks stay? What do they do under these type of conditions? It's not like they're going to just put you up in a hotel, which could be flooded. How do they manage that with all these hundreds of personnel coming in?
So initially in the beginning, it's always a little bit of fend for yourself, because the support team from FEMA has to get in there and try to establish some of that. So as I spoke, the other half of us that stayed in Katy, the first place we tried to stay at was in the school district building. Well, we got flooded out of there that night.
Okay.
And so we ended up taking refuge in the Katy High School, which just happened to be a little higher ground than the school district.
Yeah.
Eventually, we all made it up to another school location that had a higher ground that FEMA had set up as a base of operation. But that's typically how it is. We find big open areas, just like we do with the fires. We used the Great Park last week here in the Canyon 2 fire. But very similar, we bring what we call Western shelters, or big tents. So we bring all those supplies to be able to
food and
water. The task forces are required to be self-sufficient for 72 hours.
Okay.
So that includes shelters, that includes food, that includes water, that includes fuel. So all that stuff has to be able to be managed for 72 hours without the help of FEMA.
Hence the semis.
Exactly.
Bring down.
Exactly right.
Well, thank you for bringing this along to us, sending us these photos. It is wonderful what you folks do, not only just as a firefighter, but this task force that I really knew little about, and to understand how this helps and how it works throughout the country is fantastic. And I'm glad that we have it right here in Orange County.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is nice. Hopefully we'll never need it.
Exactly. It's a great asset to have just in case. Right?
Yeah, that's what we say about you guys in general.
Well, thank you.
Chief, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on becoming Chief.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you, and I'm sure we'll see you again sometime.
For sure.
Take care,
You
and
too.
we'll be right back. Yeah.